All right, thank you very much, Chairman Sekou Dabo. Hello? We're still hearing some noise, and I think it's coming from the facilitators behind. I hope we actually, if we can have seat and even join the participants, will be helpful, and not to make further noise. And thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for that introduction. My job this morning is to give a background to this important activity. This special session should have been right at the morning of today to orient you as to what is expected of you today and, of course, tomorrow. However, we decided to make it this time to avoid any delay with our peer-led sessions. The National Youth Dialogue on Reforms is part of the Gambia Youth Connect initiative program. Youth Connect is an initiative that started in Rwanda, and it's now a flagship program under the African Union. In 2017, Gambia, we launched the initiative in the Gambia in October. In 2018, and in 2019, January, we had our first Youth Connect Summit. And among the Youth Connect program, we focus on employment creation, and that is through entrepreneurship, education, and skills training. We also look at civic education, leadership, and ethical leadership, and we also look at closing the gender gap, and another pillar is looking at technology. And we had made some significant commitments, and we are working towards seeing how we could reach these commitments. You'll all agree with me that our country, the Gambia, since December 2016 to date, has been under a very serious but fragile transitional program. And our responsibility or our role as young people cannot be underestimated in the whole reform process, but within the transitional program. And Gambia National Youth Council under Ministry of Youth and Sports find it prudent to use the existing Youth Connect model to, with support from UNDP and partners. We have several partners to this program to reach out to the reform mechanism, that is the mechanisms that have been established within the Transitional Justice Program, such as the TRRC, the CRC, the Human Rights Commission, and the Constitutional Review Commission, to come out from their offices, to come and directly interface with all of you. I mean, you, the young people. You are the majority, but beyond your numbers, you are also role models in your own capacities. At family level, your parents depend on you for analysis of some trends, some information at national level, especially when we talk about new issues like democracy, rule of law, and others. And we hope that with your capacity building, with your involvement, you'll be able to provide more accurate information to your families and communities. But beyond that, we thought it wise that this is also an accountability mechanism, that we are able to hold the duty bearers, I mean people we put in those different reform mechanisms, accountable, ask them questions, and give them our feedback as to whether these mechanisms are really performing or they are underperforming, and provide them feedback in terms of our recommendations as to how they could actually do better. I said it in the previous forums or previous dialogues that we put in the government in office. All the governments are put in office by the people. They seek to represent the people, by the way. Whether they do or not, that is the rationale why we have a people, where we have elections to surrender our voice, our power, and authority to a set of people to govern the country on our behalf. So when the government establishes reform mechanisms, it's not for them, it's for us, the citizens. So taking ownership of those reform mechanisms and ensuring that they operate within the authorities we gave them and bring about the necessary good is central. And that's one reason why we said we need to bring them out to directly interface with you, but how we could also support them to succeed in their individual endeavors at the different reform mechanisms. So it is intended that we have the dialogue, but we later suggested that we need to have a capacity building component to this dialogue. That we don't only bring TRRC, CRC, and others to come and talk to you and you ask questions and go home. We said, let's add another day where we'll have a peer-led session. If you look at the hall, we all peers, you can share your opinions, you can say anything, but we get young people from those mechanisms, but also from the civil society to engage you, to share with you their own understanding, their own also shape some perceptions, correct some notions, and to ensure that we are all at the same level. So this capacity building part is purposely to give you skills, to give you information, but to also give you knowledge so that you'll be able to effectively participate in tomorrow's event dialogue. That is to ask the relevant question to those who will be on that panel. But beyond that, to also take it back home. You are just a minority if you look at the population of LRR. And we need to adhere to the principle of learn and teach others, that when you leave this place, you will also go and talk to more young people back home and share the little knowledge you have gathered from here. And we are hopeful that you will not disappoint us in that regard. I finally want to use this opportunity to thank a United Nations Development Program, UNDP, for the funding. But we also have different UN entities from UNFPA, UNICEF, and other UN families supporting. We have Government of the Gambia. We have Ministry of Justice. We have Ministry of Interior. We have Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Finance, Office of the President, all supporting this initiative to say, let's dialogue, let's talk about this. And later today, you will see some other ministries join us during the town hall, which will happen in the afternoon. And tomorrow, you will also have people from other ministries to join us to come and directly talk to you beyond this mechanism, but also even about the NDP. So we hope that you will ask the relevant questions. But allow me to also thank the Regional Youth Committee and the local authorities for all the support in putting this together. Tomorrow we are expecting the area council chairman, we are expecting councillors, we are expecting chiefs, we are expecting National Assembly members, we are expecting women councillors. We are expecting all the people we may regard as local authorities to come and also listen, ask questions, but also interact with you. It is your show, so we are not getting them here so that they come and dominate. We are getting them here to listen, to create a platform that you can interact with them. And we hope that this will be a consistent and a sustainable platform of engagement. Allow me also to thank the staff of National Youth Council, the board of National Youth Council under the leadership of Mr. Kambi, who is here, and all the organizing committee members, our facilitators, for finding time within their busy schedule to join us for this third edition of the Youth Dialogue. Next week, we will not go to on the Youth Dialogue. It's International Peace Day, and we hope that next week we will do across the country some tree planting exercise, some cleansing exercises, but also all the regions to have dialogue, intergenerational dialogue. And LRR will not be an exception to that. But following week, we will definitely continue with the rest of the country from CRR, URR, NBR, and Banjul. Without taking much of your time, allow me to thank all of you for coming, for your cooperation, and for participating in this important National Youth Dialogue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davo. That is so detailed. I don't think one need to reiterate on that again. But I think one important area, he mentioned that about the Youth Connect, which is a flagship program that is to ensure employment creation, ethical leadership, and so. Because this has a lot to do in our society and in the lives of the young people. Most of the young people that are into strike, that are into a lot of things, they do it because they are out of job. And most of them are not busy, that is why. So those that are vandalizing the places is because maybe they are not much responsible, but it's the responsibility of every government to ensure that your citizens are responsible. And ethical leadership is another important thing. Observing the Gambia today, a lot of issues are going around, and it's all geared towards ethics. If people have ethics, if our leaders have ethics, I don't think most of the things happening today will happen. I'm sorry to use that word, but obviously, ethical leadership is quite very important. A leader with ethics will not allow certain things to happen in his leadership. So, Mr. Dabo, we want to thank you very much for that insightful background information about the program. The next on the program, I want to invite Mr. Suleiman Marina from the UNDP to give a statement. Mr. Marina, you're welcome.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the High Table, colleagues from the UN family, Chairman National Youth Council, fellow young people, village elders, and all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. On behalf of the UNDP representative, Madam Aissata Day, who will be joining us later in the afternoon, I would like to warmly welcome you all to this very important and historic event. Engaging youth in a dialogue is a step towards lasting peace, which I am pleased to organize together with my colleagues from the National Youth Council. We have been pleased to recognize that conflict prevention, including mediation, has become the priority of the United Nations and its member states, and the Secretary General himself has made a way to this approach by highlighting the importance of preventive diplomacy. We all would agree and recognize the fact that dialogues are very critical for our country at this juncture, particularly with the young people. But what is lacking is the implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will want to focus on the youth, young men and women. We think that this important convergence should call for our undivided attention. United Nations Security Council's Resolution 2250, 2015, and 2419, 2018 on peace and security promote the idea of youth as a positive force towards peace. They emphasize the role of young women and men, that they could play a conflict prevention role and resolution, including mediation. These resolutions help us challenge assumptions, recognize the work of those youths not involved in violence, and find a way to meaningfully include them in political discussions as well as mediation processes. It is in this backdrop that we implore policymakers to develop meaningful mechanisms for youth participation and leadership in decision-making, policy-making from local to national to international levels. We must also foster young people's leadership skills, create an interdependence virtuous cycle to shift the negative perception and discourse on young people to that of partners in peace building and sustainable communities. The objective of this event is based on the following. First, to create platforms for youth participation and inclusion in governance processes to ensure effective feedback from the communities to the stakeholders, whilst being put on the spotlight to also ensure accountability. It is also to bring the citizenry close to their government in order to bridge the communication gap, thereby minimizing rumors, misinformations, and misunderstanding in public deliberations, to ensure face-to-face conversations and debate leading to common understandings which results to peaceful coexistence. Let me assure you of the UNDP and other UN agencies' commitment and continuous collaboration with the government, civil society, and all actors on youth, for our collective determination to respond to the call to action by our youth, to give them the space and the trust so that they may fully exercise their creativity and become engaged leaders and agents of change. As achieving the Agenda 2030, we require strong partnership with young people and all stakeholders that the challenge faced by the youth are addressed and their contributions recognized and that they are involved in all levels of decision making. Mr. Chairman, my fellow young people, this event, as alluded to by Lamin, is indeed in conformity with the Youth Connect program, which was launched in Gambia sometime October last year. The Youth Connect is a multi-dimensional program which was developed in Rwanda in 2012, which aimed in connecting youth to their role model peers, resources, skills, and economic opportunities. The program provides opportunity for African youths to unleash their creativity and leadership in civic, economic, political, aiming at mindset change and transformation. To conclude, let me quote from the former Secretary General of the UN, Kofi Annan. Young people should be at the forefront of global change and innovation. Empowered, they can be key changes for development and peace. Let's empower the young women and men to make peace. On that note, I hope you had a fruitful peer-led discussion this afternoon, and that the dialogue with the stakeholders tomorrow will also be useful. And I hope that you will all leave this event at least satisfied with the fact that you have been given the platform to speak out your concerns and make suggestions on issues that affect your lives, and be hopeful that your voices will be heard. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Good. Thank you very much, Mr. Marena, for that wonderful statement. It is well said. Inclusion is key. If young people are not included, we will ensure we include ourselves, and that may not go well. So it's high time for governments involved to include the young people. I think, Mr. Suleiman, equally, conflict resolution, young people have been taking the lead in that. We've seen the peace ambassadors, even during the impasse. They have played a greater role in ensuring that there is a peace. But not only the peace ambassadors, the young people of this country, are just excellent. It was a moment that everybody was sitting on a time bomb. But the young people of this country, we are so mature that there was never conflict in this country. There was never a war in this country. You've unseated a dictator, which in the whole world nobody has done without a sweat of blood. I think you can clap for yourself. Indeed, that was applause. So, like we said, we don't intend to take this session long, but there is a great mistake I did. The media is present. I did not recognize their presence, which was a mistake, and I hope my voice will be heard in the GRTS and the QTVs. I'm very sorry, but I recognize your presence because media plays a key role in terms of information sharing and in terms of people, in fact, accessing information and acting upon them. So we recognize your presence, and we want to say thank you very much to our young people who are also leading those medias and also ensuring that they are taking the leaders accountable. These young media, men and women, are doing a lot. A lot that we are informed, a lot that we are seeing online is their work. and they are taking the leadership accountable. So we recognize your presence. We want to say thank you very much. So without much ado, they said all plagues no work makes Zach a dull boy. So Cape Size, are you ready? Cape Size, are you ready? Yes, I am. Very good. Give us some light. Yes.